through combining Berserk and Claymore to design the main duo, Briar and Lute, using Bloodborne and Monster Hunter to create the weapon that Briar wields, From Software's environmental storytelling to build the world that they have to survive in, and covered by a Devil May Cry styled blanket, all made by the wonderful minds at Reply Game Studios. We have their interpretation of a modern hack and slash, Soulstice. Playing Soulstice after several months of putting it on the virtual shelf felt nice, especially looking at the visuals with the set camera angles reminiscent of Devil May Cry. The first few fights I got reacquainted with alternating between the sword and the hammer in combos. What I had to remember to consistently do was remember to use loot to parry monsters. Using loot for defense is extremely vital, as that will be your main way to mitigate damage, other than dodging. Then after all that, I got to the observer of Briar and Lute, Layton.
But the Shaper had no hand in your creation. Did he, sweet sisters?
And what I got from him was that our main duo here is considered unreliable to the ones that they serve, the Order of the Ashen Blade.
My presence here is proof enough of my worth. You, on the other hand, are said to be unstable, unruly, and unwilling to follow orders.
More than likely, they are low on the totem pole. After buying a skill from him, I continued on the mission, which is to seal the tear. Soon enough, the game taught me about unity and synergy attacks. As you keep attacking monsters, you'll get more and more synergy between Briar and Lute. Get enough of it and you'll be able to do a combo finisher, but only if you don't get hit the whole time. I wasn't personally able to do this until chapter 4. I found it pretty hard to get to that point in an early game, because I would always get hit. But eventually I learned, kind of. Then the last important mechanic that the game taught me was about the evocation field. In order to damage Wraith type enemies, you have to use this evocation field. All you have to do is turn it on and slash away. And before you ask, there is a red version of this field, the banishment field. And that mechanic was very easy to get used to. Playing through Soulstice, I found that the gameplay got better and better as I understood how to attack faster. I even found myself invested in the story as it continued, which normally for hack and slash type of games I tend to ignore. Plus, the scenery looks great. But of course, about that combat. It's good. It's better than okay or serviceable, it's above average, but I still think it could be better. Like I stated, at least at the start, you have two weapons, your sword and the hammer. The hammer is the one that's the primary weapon, and the secondary is the sword. You'll get more primary weapons later on, but you can always switch in between the primary and secondary, even between other primaries. Then you have loot that will help you on defense and gives utility. And learning how to control everything in a competent manner, my enjoyment only went up. The first primary, the hammer, felt slow and clunky to use by itself, and felt completely wrong to use alone as I would get interrupted. I resorted to only using it to use the knockup, so I can juggle and then slamming down to finish the air combo. Doing the Ashen Enforcer synergy attack, to me, just wasn't viable, as it was just too slow. I would get hit while trying to execute it. On the other hand, we have the secondary sword, which admittedly became the primary because out of all the weapons, it was the most versatile, and getting the synergy attack off was very easy, the runner-up being the whip. The bigger or heavier weapons no doubt should be slower than something like a sword or daggers, but I can't help but feel that it shouldn't be this slow or clunky. However, there is a fix for that. Alternating between the main and secondary weapons alleviates this issue completely. You just won't be able to use the combo finisher. The feeling is night and day, and I love it. However, I don't feel like that is an excuse for them to stay this way. And really, all I would feel that would need to be done is increasing the animation speed just a tad, because using the synergy attacks is extremely important, as they do great crowd control. But as I say this, maybe it's intended for us to use the sword or faster weapon and get to the final part of the combo and bust out the heavier weapon. I just feel like it's a little bit limiting, that's all. After a certain point in the game, you'll be able to enter rapture mode, which will allow you to do more damage as you slash away, and do damage while you dash. Do that on repeat, and then do your special attack at the end. The special attack will change dependent on your build, and that's cool, but I wish you could do more in this mode. Combos that I can't normally do, you know? But all I can really do is mash one button, sometimes clicking the dash to catch up to someone I slapped away. And that's until I do the finisher. I think being able to unlock a few skills to do different stuff in that mode would be pretty cool, and it would make it more interesting taking down monsters. Soulstice also has a well-constructed story. The game doesn't do anything new in its storytelling, and in fact I would say this is where Claymore's and Berserk's influence are the loudest, but Claymore in bigger text. Briar and Lute are tragic characters, and they're introduced as being useless to the Order of the Ashen Blade. Briar and the main character in Claymore, Claire, both start at the bottom of the totem pole and need to prove their worth, whether it be to the organization or their peers. It's Briar's main motivation for doing this very dangerous mission, sealing the tear that's in the sky, even though Lute is really scared.
I'm not ready. We are not ready. To them, we are just Briar and Lute, the outcasts. I say this is our chance to prove ourselves. We can't waste it.
Not to mention, the world building is great. You get enough info about the important characters in the story and the world through its cutscenes. And if you have a mild interest in learning more, of course, you can look up the codex. But honestly, it's not required. The story and lore in Soulstice is solid, and I enjoyed it a ton. Then of course, Soulstice looks amazing. The fixed camera angles works well to show off the amazing set pieces the developers put together. They were always a pleasure to see. The design of Briar and Lute and the weapons that Briar wields are all awesome too. The fact that they got the inspiration from Monster Hunter and Bloodborne makes sense given how the main weapon that she uses functions. I always like the idea of transforming weapons. And then lastly, the music is serviceable. I wouldn't exactly listen to this outside of this game, but I did really enjoy the Twin Wraith boss track. Honestly, there's really nothing negative I can say about the presentation of Soulstice. Reply Game Studios really did a great job on the presentation. Soulstice was a great indie hack and slash that I had a great time with, and I think others would too. If you are interested in Soulstice, the game is $39.99 on the PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos on awesome indie games.